Syracuse has named their starting quarterback. What can you tell me about that Orangeman? Are we still allowed to call him Orangeman, or what do we call him?
It's still the orange.
Oh, the orange. I'm sorry. Yeah, the orange. Go Big Cuse. All right. So what can you tell us about Syracuse's newest starting quarterback? That'll be Tennessee's opener on August the 30th, I believe.
Yes, it is Rickie Collins. He transferred from LSU. Was Garrett Nussmeier's backup the last 2 years. He's from Baton Rouge specifically. Now, I'm going to say this about Rickie Collins. Rickie Collins has completed 100% of his passes in college football so far.
That's amazing. How many has he thrown? 2?
7.
Yeah.
7. He's 7-7 for 38 yards in 2 seasons. So Rickie Collins is highly efficient. Okay, in all seriousness, Rickie Collins was a 3-star recruit among transfers, but he was a 4-star coming out of high school. So there is
he was a top 15 quarterback as well.
Yeah, so there is a lot of here, and Fran Brown and Syracuse. I mean, they are, he did a very good job last year with Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord was run out of Ohio State, and Fran Brown took him, and they went 10-3 last year and did shockingly good, to the point where they upset Miami late in the year, Dave. And remember, that upset is why Miami didn't make the college football playoff.
Yes.
So, I mean, Fran Brown is a very, very good, underrated coach. I don't think he's getting the props he deserves for what he just did last year. And so he was the Georgia defensive backs coach, and he just had an amazing first season.
I will say this as it pertains to Tennessee. I don't think this is good because you don't have much tape on this kid. You don't know what he does particularly well. I mean, how much tape are we talking about? 7 passes thrown? That's it?
Yes. 7
you're
passes
not going to get anything from that. You can't go back to high school. I don't think it's good for Tennessee that you've got a guy coming out of left field, or in this case, Baton Rouge, to be Syracuse's starting quarterback. I think this is troublesome.
Oh, this is very troublesome. No, I totally agree.
Very.
Well, I mean, it is because, again, I can't even get from this. It is because he's listed as a dual threat quarterback. Now, he hasn't shown that at all at the college level. He hasn't shown anything about being a dual threat, but he is a mobile quarterback. And Dave, you know this as well as I do. A good offensive coordinator with a dual threat quarterback, that dual threat quarterback can hit you by surprise the first year he's playing, right? And
yeah, and I will take it a step further as well. I think that any quarterback that you don't have a book on is going to be tough to defend for 4 to 6 quarters. I think it takes you almost a full game, and then the next opponent benefits from what the initial opponent did.
I agree, which is why now it's even more shocking that Fran Brown wanted to do a spring game with Colorado. Like, don't you want to hide Rickie Collins at this point?
Yeah, but that was just for funsies. That was to get his name in the nose.
Probably.
You knew it was never going to happen.
I thought it might, but I will say that. Look, I think that the interesting thing about this is again, Rickie Collins is not at all going to be scared of the moment. You know, he grew up in Baton Rouge. He played in Louisiana. And the thing that Fran Brown that stood out to me the most was that the biggest reason now you tell me if this is a good sign or a bad sign. The first thing he said about naming Rickie Collins was the players are behind him. And I guess what he means by that is that that
players were behind Rick Clausen. Unfortunately, none of the players had a throwing arm, and neither did Rick.
Yeah, well, Rickie Collins actually has a throwing arm, though. So I mean, no one's going to accuse Rickie Collins of being Rick Clausen. Okay, Rickie Collins was a highly talented kid coming out of high school.
Yeah, just because players rally behind somebody, you should rally behind who I tell you to, because I'm your head coach. Would be my answer to that.
I agree with you on that. And so maybe that's a bad sign for LSU. If he's listening to what the players want, that's not really what you want to do, right? But look, you're right. It is really, really hard to know what's going to happen. I think it's more important from Tennessee's perspective, and this is a big thing, it's the pressure in the Syracuse game is going to be on their offense. They got to score a lot of points. Syracuse last year they scored 34 points a game, I believe. They gave up 30 points a game. So Tennessee needs to try to take advantage of that. That was an ACC play. So I think Tennessee could take advantage of that. But I could see you could potentially see a high scoring game in this one.
Well, if Tennessee's defense gives up, even without Jermod McCoy, I'm gonna pretend he's not playing because I don't believe coaches when they say he'll be ready. And Josh Heupel's lied to us on more than one occasion. Cooper Mays. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that if Syracuse, even without Jermod McCoy, if he's not playing in that game, that if Tennessee allows them to score more than 20 points, they've had an off day. This should be a 42 to 17 point win.
Yes. No, I totally agree. It also, Syracuse loses a lot of talent on offense across the board, so they probably are going to have a drop off from last year's 10-3 season. I think Mercedes-Benz Stadium, let's be honest, Dave, it's going to be mostly Tennessee fans in that stadium overwhelmingly.
Yeah, but it's orange, so you won't know who they're rooting for.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I think Tennessee's going to have all the fans. They'll have a more developed offense. Syracuse, as is pointed out, has lost their top two receivers. They're unproven everywhere. Yes, that's hard. That's hard for you to figure out a new quarterback. But I mean, I don't think Tennessee's defensive schemes were that complex last year.
Last year, Syracuse was 10-3. We'll take a quick look at them. They closed the season with 4 straight wins. Their losses were Stanford at home in a close game, 26-24. Pitt on the road, 41-13. Boston College, 37-13 on the road there in Massachusetts. So I guess their best win would probably be Miami, 42-38, the last game of the year. Was that their best win?
Yes, that was. And that was a heck of a win, too.
And you maybe could go Washington State in the bowl game, but again, bowl games, I don't know who's motivated, who's not. The other teams they beat were UConn, Cal, Virginia Tech, NC State, UNLV, Holy Cross. Man, Georgia Tech, Ohio, they really didn't have an opportunity for a quality win.
No, they didn't. But the one chance they had, they took it. I mean,
schedule. I feel sorry for the beat reporters.
It's the ACC. This is what you're dealing with there now. They're waiting for basketball. I don't feel sorry for the beat reporters because then they get to go cover Big East basketball or ACC basketball. That's always fun. Even when they're down. So but I mean, that's what you sign up for when you cover football up there. Stephen A. Smith is one of his first jobs was covering Temple football. He said that I still have PTSD from covering them in the 90s.
A lot of access, and that's always good.
Yeah.
I just this Syracuse team, Tennessee will be considerably better. If you were to compare Tennessee's talent level to an SEC school, where would you have them?
Tennessee's talent level to an SEC
I'm sorry,
school?
Syracuse's talent.
Oh, Syracuse's talent. Well, let's see. Let's think about this. I mean, they're not better than Tennessee. They're not better than.
Yeah, let me throw this at you for a second. So they're not better than Alabama or Georgia.
Nope. Nor Texas.
Nor Texas.
Nor Tennessee.
What about two teams that Tennessee faced, Oklahoma and Arkansas?
They're better than Oklahoma. I mean, they're better than Arkansas. I don't think they're more talented than Oklahoma.
Yeah, I could go either way on Arkansas.
If they just have. Yeah, let's just look at Tennessee's SEC schedule and who would Syracuse beat. I mean, we can go down the list. They wouldn't beat Georgia. It's a toss-up with Mississippi State. I think they'd beat Arkansas if they had Arkansas at home. I think they could beat Kentucky on the road.
Nathaniel says Vandy. I think they're a little bit better than Vandy. To me, I'd have
a lot better than Vandy.
Yeah, I would have them somewhere along the Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think so too.
You're going to get the guys that want to stay close to you, and recruiting in Jersey isn't that bad. It's pretty good. So you're going to get the guys that want to stay to you and then stay with you and didn't go somewhere else. Stay close to home.
Here's where Syracuse would. If you're talking about Syracuse as a program, I mean, they've always had trouble trying to build a really good football program, but they've had good football players over the years. I mean, this is the program with Jim Brown and
Daryl Johnston
and Donovan McNabb.
Daryl Johnston. You even remember who Daryl Johnston is?
No, I do not.
Oh, man. He was the fullback for the leading rusher in NFL history.
Oh, Walter Payton?
No, that would be Emmitt Smith.
All time. Okay. No. I'm pulling him up now. Jeez, he looks old to have played in the 90s. I'm not going to lie. Sorry. But Jim Brown, Daryl Johnston, and Donovan McNabb, Keith Bullock, Dwight Freeney. I mean, this is a program with a lot of tradition, but Dave, just because it's a vanity thing, in about a year or so, Elon Musk is going to want to make Rutgers a powerhouse in football because that's his alma mater, and he's going to throw like a gajillion dollars at him.
I'm of the opinion that I do not know what's going through Elon Musk's mind. Thank you very much, Daniel Moose. That's right. That's what you cheer when Daryl Johnston gets on the field. Does anybody remember? Okay, I'm going to do this real quick. So we never had anybody. Okay, we never had anybody reach out and get the John Henderson helmet. So we gave it away. We did the drawing and all that. And nobody did that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to the next person that can tell me who replaced Daryl Johnston at fullback and was highly touted, but Tennessee beat the bejesus out of in the opening game of the 1998 season because the guy was soft, unlike Daryl Johnston. If anybody can name him, then I'll hook you up with the John Henderson helmet. What about that? That's a pretty good deal.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah. So go ahead and fill that out right now. He was good at catching the ball, but man, when Tennessee came out there and laid their hat on him, he was absolutely over it. And Dwight Freeney also played for Cuse.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I brought up Dwight Freeney.
Okay.
Yeah, Dwight Freeney played for Syracuse. Marvin Harrison, the most overrated receiver of all time, who Peyton Manning turned into a Hall of Famer, who would have been a forgettable receiver if Peyton Manning wasn't throwing him the ball.
Seems a little strong.
I'm a Marvin. I'm not a Marvin hater. I think he's a good guy, good team guy outside of when he's carrying guns and shooting people.
Yeah, I'm trying to give this helmet away. Give me the answer. Give me the answer right now.
I don't have the answer.
You don't know who it is?
No.
Why do I remember? No, it's not Robert Thomas. It's not Will B. Come on.
Who would remember this? Like after the Cowboys, they were irrelevant after this.
Oh, well, I was covering the 98 team.
Oh.
I knew who replaced Daryl Johnston. Yes, David Speaks, Rob Conrad. Absolutely correct. David, here is my email. I'll get you this helmet. We appreciate that.